First of all, thank you so much, DLD. It's truly an honor to be here, and this is my third time at DLD Women, and it's getting bigger and better and more inspiring. Thank you again, and I'm just completely touched, and thank you. All right. So I'll tell you a little bit more about Ushahidi and also this idea of connectivity in Africa. So to live in Africa is to be literally or even metaphorically on the edge. If you notice the Sahara Desert, that is what basically divided Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, from the rest of the revolutions that happened in Europe and in North America, from the Industrial Revolution, the Antiquity, and also the Digital Revolution. However, things are changing. There is now more and more connection from Africa to the rest of the world. This is changing. Africa is connected to the rest of the world, and it's now telling its story, and it is now part and parcel of the different revolutions happening in the world. This is a map of the fiber optic cables showing how Africa is being connected. Keep this image in your mind because I'll show you another image that illustrates a challenge that we're trying to deal with. I'm very lucky to, I think that this is probably the wrong, but it's okay, we'll go with this. There's a different presentation, the one for DLD women. It's all right, we'll go with this. Those are my two co-founders, including Ori. Eric and David, we go to bat together, we work together closely, and they're part of the important team that is Ushahidi now. I show that to illustrate the fact that when we started Ushahidi, we wanted to give back to the local tech community in Kenya, and that's why we set up the iHub. So we make things, and then we try to create a framework for others so that they do not have to start from scratch, and they can continue to do other things, that to prototype or to be part of the technology story in Kenya. So one of the ways that when we created the platform and made it open source, it opened up the platform to uses other than just election monitoring. Some of those uses are crisis mapping in Japan and also in Haiti, where in Haiti people were able to send in information about where they were and what their needs were. And that information was used by the US Coastal Guard and other first responders in assisting Haitians during their time of need. Now, the team has grown. We're now spread over 7 different time zones, which makes communication quite a challenge. But because Ushahidi's culture is very much rooted on the internet, and we're very dependent on the internet. It's also a community that is now spanning more than 100 countries, and the platform has been translated into more than 30 languages, something that we hope to continue to encourage the uptake of this use and for people to see Ushahidi as a skeleton on which they can build their ideas, and they can figure out what are the issues that they care about. Can they collect data about those issues? And can they figure out how to take this body of evidence and create change around whatever issue, be it environment, be it human rights, or even elections. Now, I relocated to Nairobi towards the end of 2011. And Nairobi has a different reality of frequent blackouts and brownouts. So our reality in East Africa right now is still unreliability of the electricity grid. That is something that at first I used to take for granted when I lived in Chicago, but this is the current reality in Nairobi and other parts of Africa. When I showed you the other map that showed the cost of the connections from Africa to the rest of the world, one of the things that I realized when I moved back to Kenya was that the cost of connecting is still, it's improving when it comes to connecting to the rest of the world, which is 5 Kenya shillings to make a call from Kenya to the US, Canada, or China. But look at this. To call Ghana or Nigeria, which is in the same continent, it is 6 times the cost. So that's one of the other harsh realities of living in Africa. Now, when we think about, at Ushahidi, we always think about what are the things that drive us to make what we make. And one of the first questions that we ask ourselves is, what is the problem? How are we fixing it? And how are we helping people with fixing this problem? So we looked at the modem. And the question we asked ourselves is, why do we use technology that is designed for areas with ubiquitous internet access? Because you've got a small modem that is useful, yes, but first of all, it's not really designed for the African context. It works if you're in Madrid or here in Munich, but then when you're in Nairobi and you've got a power blackout and you still have a limited amount of charge on your laptop or on your phone, tethering sucks up all that battery, so you need something more robust. So we redesigned the modem and we came up with the BRCK. So the BRCK has 2 main functions. The first is as a backup generator for the internet, where when the power goes out, you're able to hop onto the fastest available 3G or 4G network. You would look at, the system would figure out which one of the networks is the fastest, and it would enable you to get online so that you can continue working. The other part of the BRCK is as a hookup to the Internet of Things, where you could add sensors to it. For example, a weather station where you're gathering weather data, and you can use the BRCK to send that data back to you, to give you that information in a dashboard so that you can then make decisions with that data. The other applications of the BRCK with the Internet of Things are yet to be made. The thing is, we're making the hardware in such a way that you can plug in and figure out what other uses. And what we hope to do is, like Ushahidi, to create a platform on which other people can innovate and make other things that are more powerful than what we began with. So the deeper question that we ask ourselves is, if we solve for this problem for ourselves in Kenya, what could it be impactful for? It could be useful not only for small and medium enterprises, it could be useful for coders, it could be useful for the next generation of people who will be making other technologies and other innovations beyond Ushahidi. And we're exploring this idea because it hasn't been easy. The components to actually prototype this, we would carry them in our baggage because we were very lucky that whenever we're in the US, we would put the components in our luggage, and we would have the most interesting conversations with customs border agents, where they would ask, why are you carrying something that kind of looks like a bomb? And I would say, you know, it's components for something that we're working on. There are a lot of challenges, but with this, we see an opportunity to create an atmosphere where, like I said, we make stuff and then we create a framework and open the door for others to prototype. So the next part of the BRCK, beyond, we got it on Kickstarter, we put it on Kickstarter, and with the support of people online, including some people who are in the room here, thank you, we were able to get that funded. And by November of this year, we will have that shipping out to different parts of the world. But the other question that we'd like to to explore with getting the BRCK out into the market is, can we open up doors for others within Africa and East Africa, particularly in Kenya, to make more, to prototype more? So we're working and we're looking for partners who can help us to create this environment so that the solutions that could be global can also be prototyped in Africa. And we always say that if it works in Africa, it could work anywhere. And the constraints and the unique environment in these different countries, the adversity can actually be the impetus for us to make better products and serve the needs of many more people. And one of the key ideas is this thing that the digital revolution, this is DLD, Digital Life Design, is that the digital revolution or the digital economy is going to be led by entrepreneurs. And the BRCK is just one foundation in helping them to stay connected, to explore what it means to realize their dreams in the emerging economy of the internet, and to be part of that global revolution that we see here and we see in other parts of the world. Thank you very much for your kind attention.